I'm gonna do a little review of what has become my favorite gun so far, handgun anyways. This is the Ruger SP101 5-shot revolver with a 2 1/4 inch barrel. It's chambered in .357 Magnum. I keep it loaded with 38 specials. This is the Critical Defense 38 Special Plus P 110 grade. I find that to be a fine choice for ammunition. I rarely fire .357s through it or keep .357s in it because it is a lot of recoil, and your accuracy and rapid fire with a .357 snub nose is not that good on a gun that only weighs, I think it's 24 or 27 ounces, something like that. First thing I want to say about this gun is the opposite of what a lot of people say. A lot of people say Rugers are just ugly and Smith & Wessons are beautiful. I don't find that to be the case at all. Now, this gun did come with plastic grip inserts because the grip is rubber and they were just kind of black plastic. I didn't think that looked that good, so I got a hold of the Ultimate company. They're the ones that make the grips for Ruger revolvers, the ones that normally have a Ruger logo in them, that go in some of their newer revolvers. And these are the same grips except they don't have the Ruger logo. They're only about 25 bucks to buy them. And it completely changes the look of the revolver, makes it look nice and sharp. So I like the look of the wood, but the grip itself, I would not change that for anything. Even though I have pretty large hands for this gun, because it's rubber, I can just get my pinky on there just barely. And the thickness of the grip, I love the thickness of it because it makes me completely more accurate than I am with those thin grips. In fact, I am more accurate with this little gun at any range than I was with my Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum with a 6-inch barrel. That could be due to the fact that I am firing only 38s through this, and I was firing mostly only 44 Magnums through that. But even at 75 yards, I'm able to hit more targets with this than I was that 44 Magnum with a 6-inch barrel. So I think that's a lot to be said for a snub-nosed revolver that has that kind of accuracy. It has better accuracy than any handgun I own, and it's 2 1/4 inch barrel is not very long, so that's something to be said about the gun. So I actually like them a lot more than the Smith & Wesson revolvers. And I've had Smith & Wesson, Taurus, Rossi, and Ruger, and I find Ruger to be a really good revolver, real good, solid, reliable. Another thing about it that a lot of people don't like is the heavy trigger pull and the long trigger. The trigger is really long and cocks back like that really far. But for me, I find that it has better accuracy and double action because I like to stage the trigger when I fire double action. I know a lot of people say don't do that, but this is what I do. And I know exactly when that break-off moment's going to be. There's not much shake at all to that gun. You see I have it gripped. That muzzle does not move at all. Like I know about from this point, I just got to think about it. So I'm very accurate in double action with it. Single action, I am pretty good with it too, but double action is way more accurate with this gun than a Smith & Wesson for me. I have strong fingers, so that might be why, but for some people, Smith & Wesson or a different kind of revolver might be more accurate for them. Its lockup is extremely tight. When you cock the hammer, there's nothing. There's no play whatsoever. So it's really tight. And I've had good experience with this gun. I actually killed a raccoon a few days ago with it. And first shot, one kill. Dropped it like a sack of potatoes. And I actually shot it with one of these critical defense rounds. So as far as being able to get the job done with accuracy, it works. I had a flashlight and I actually cocked the hammer, shined the flashlight, and I seen it in just one shot, one kill. So overall, it's a really, really great gun. I paid $525, I think. So I didn't get a very good deal on it necessarily, but I think it's worth every penny. And I don't see it as being less than a Smith & Wesson as far as quality. People say, well, it's not as smooth or whatever, it's ugly. I'm not sure what they're talking about because it looks smooth, the lines. One thing I like to make out that I don't see too many people talk about is when you cock a hammer on a revolver and you drop it. I just did it wrong just a moment ago. Kind of bring it down with my finger on it. That actually allows the firing pin to drop on the back of the rounded ammo. And I've seen people do that all the time. They're going to decock it and they leave their finger on it. The very best way to decock a revolver is to put your thumb in it. And I don't see anybody do that, but that's the best way. Put it in, tap the trigger till you feel the hammer release, then you completely take your trigger finger off. And even if it fell, you got the transfer bar, it's not going to be an issue. So that's something I'd like to see more people do when they get a revolver. Just put their thumb in it when they're decocking it. Don't just try to time it, because even when you try to time it correctly, I mean, you could do it, but a lot of people just do this, and it's like, ugh, you just drop that pin right on live round of ammo. You're lucky it didn't go off. But overall, good gun. I'd highly recommend it. It's a little close up. The only real complaint I have about it versus a Smith & Wesson is a Smith & Wesson will have a little screw right here to completely take off your cylinder. You just unscrew it and you pull it right off. This one doesn't. This one you have to completely take the gun apart to get that cylinder off. And I don't really like that because when I clean my guns, as you can see, I shoot hundreds of rounds to this and you don't see any black marks, any build up, anything. I clean it really well. And when I put brushes through the cylinder, I just don't like to feel that wobble. It makes me feel like I'm wearing down the gun to some degree if I do that enough. And Smith & Wesson, I would completely take it off and I would put just the cylinder in my hand with no gun. It was very easy to put a brush through there. And this one I have to take the gun apart to do it. Another thing is if you want to transport this gun without a case where I live, you could simply take the screw out, take the cylinder off, the gun would be considered disassembled and you could just throw it in your trunk without a case. That's the laws where I live anyway. As with this gun, you'd have to have a case. Not that you wouldn't have a case. I'm just making a point that's one more benefit to having a cylinder that comes off. And 5 shots. I liked 5 shots. I like the weight of it. The reason why I got this gun is because I wanted a little J-frame, something like that. But all the Smith & Wessons are made out of aluminum. I was looking for a gun that would be a really small, easy to carry gun, but that you could put a lot of rounds of ammo through it. So being chamber 357 Magnum, I'm not really concerned that I put maybe 500 rounds of 38 through it so far, because that's about half the pressure of a 357 Magnum, and this thing is all steel. As where if I put 500 rounds of plus P through one of those aluminum frame Smith & Wessons, I might feel like that might not be the best thing to do. Might wear it down a little bit more. But another thing is this kind of release versus a Smith & Wesson. I actually prefer that, and I think it's a little bit better of a defensive position for that. It's better for a defensive gun to have that there. Because on a Smith & Wesson, you push it forward to release it. And this one you have to push in really hard. And I could foresee an event where somebody, let's say a lady is down on the ground, somebody's on top of her, and she's holding that gun against them, not sure where the firing, about to fire, and pushing forward like that. Now, if she's got a lot of weight coming on her, and she's holding the gun, and her thumb happens to be there, and she pushes forward, things can open up, make the gun useless. As where a push button, that's not going to happen. You're not going to accidentally push it up and have that cylinder pop out. So I think that's a really good point to make. If you're going to have, let's say, a home defense gun, this might not be the best concealed carry gun because it is heavier. But for a home defense gun, for a little lady, it's going to be a good gun because it's going to absorb the recoil, and it doesn't have that push forward button, and it's a little snub. So I noticed a lot of ladies like the little short barrels. It's easier to wield. That's what I think of this gun, and I think it's a great gun. If I had to rate it out of stars, 5 stars, I'd say 5 out of 5. It's excellent, no problems. It shoots exactly the way I want a gun to. It's completely accurate. It's just great. And it's my favorite handgun now. So, thanks for watching.